we've got a grown-up back in the office of mayor in New York City. And I love grown-ups. I'm a huge fan of grown-ups. So here we have the new mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, talking about the real problems that have plagued New York over the last amount of time. And that is the fundamental lack of swagger. Let's watch.
When a mayor has swagger, the city has swagger. We've allowed people to beat us down so much that all we did was wallow in COVID. That's all we did. And we no longer believed. This is a city of swagger. This is a city of resiliency. And all of these messages out there of what is going to happen, what is going to happen, we're going to survive.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Okay, so I really I wanna do like, you know, the line by line analysis here. So I gave you the full clip here. Now I want to watch it again, and I want to pause every 5 seconds to analyze the language here. Now again, folks, Americans are fucking stupid. They're fucking stupid, right? So imagine listening to this and you're all like, you got goosebumps, and you're like, oh, swagger, yes. So let's watch again.
When a mayor has swagger, the city has swagger.
So first of all, I'm going to be honest with you. Eric Adams, no swagger at all. The guy's a cop. He's a fucking cop. You think cops have swagger? Come on now, let's be honest, right? But then the idea that the mayor represents the city to such a degree, I like, that is just ridiculous. It's Looney Tunes. But okay, you know, let's be charitable. You know, he's trying to be cool and hip. You know, look at me. Look, you see that? That's a hip right there. That's Eric Adams, what he's attempting to do. But anyway, let's keep going.
We've allowed people to beat us down so much.
So my question here is, who are the people beating you down? How have they beat you down? And what is that language? Have they beat you down like the New York Police Department does to Black Lives Matter protesters? How, in what ways have us, quote unquote, I don't live in New York, but you know, to people that live in New York, like, how have they been beat down, and who is beating them down?
That all we did was wallow in COVID.
Now, again, that's another one. All we did was, that's not true. That, I know a lot of people that live in New York City. They have sent me photographs of like outside in New York City. That is objectively untrue. That the only thing people did in the entirety of New York City was, quote, wallow in COVID. Now, again, folks, I covered this when there was this big New Year's Eve ball drop bullshit, where the entirety of the people that organized the event in Times Square said that masks are required. You look at all the photographs, you look at Eric Adams, you look at everything that they did, no one's wearing masks, so it's like, okay, masks are required, except they're not going to enforce that in any capacity, and so therefore they're not required. And now we're seeing giant case spikes all across the country, but especially in New York. Right, but again, this is the part where it gets a little bit psychopathic. Let's keep watching.
That's all we did. And we no longer believed. This is a city of swagger.
So, okay, that's all we did was wallow in COVID, and now we don't believe anymore? Believe what? The sentence just ends there, and then he goes back to the swagger thing like he's fucking, like, I don't know, like, what are you, fucking Pidgeotto or some shit? Who the fuck is using swagger? Like, come on now. But anyway, like, you don't believe in what? COVID? You don't believe in wallowing in COVID? What do those things mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything.
This is a city of resiliency.
Resiliency, okay. What does that mean? Resiliency. Oh, I'm resilient. To what? What does that mean?
And all of these messages out there of what is going to happen, what is going to happen, we're going to survive.
Survive? Survive? What does that mean you're gonna survive? What does that mean you're gonna fucking survive? Like, I don't, like, what is, like, you know the guy, like, the historically tracked, like, worst, most gruesome death in world history was some dude in, like, Japan who got, like, radiation, right? But then they, like, kept him alive, like, past his, like, you know, he wanted to, like, get killed, right? Because his body was literally falling apart, his skin was melting off from radiation exposure. But they kept him alive against his will in, like, a medical facility and performed experiments on him. He was surviving. He was surviving. What does that mean? That's your bar of success? Survival? What? What? People that have permanent neurological disorders because of long COVID, well, at least they're alive. What? What? This is like when Joe Biden's response to police violence was like, we need to train cops not to shoot in the back, but to shoot in the leg. What? What? What does that mean? You're surviving. What the fuck? Surviving is not, like, that's not a metric for success. Like, if there's, like, a giant nuclear fucking, like, a apocalypse, right? Or, like, if aliens come and try to kill everyone and you're, like, in a cave somewhere, like in The Descent, and you're hanging on, then maybe survival is a metric of success. But we are in the 21st century. We are in modern society. Survival is not a metric for success. The idea that the new New York City mayor is just giving up on COVID, he literally alludes to the fact that he doesn't even believe in it in this statement, and then he says whoops and then goes back to the swagger bullshit like he's a fucking goddamn Starly or something, right? But again, like this whole idea that I'm resilient. What is I'm surviving because of my resiliency. We're going to kill everyone around us and endanger everyone around us and get everyone around us sick, but we're going to survive. What? People can survive after eating candle wax. Does that mean you should just eat candle wax so that you can become resilient? What the fuck does that mean? The guy is crazy. The guy is fucking crazy. The guy is nuts. This is a Looney Tune. This is like a fascist. I'm going to be honest. You know, I'm using the F word here. Eric Adams is a fascist. Not only for his connections with the New York Police Department, a literal fascist organization, right? One of the biggest terror organizations in modern history, right? But this is fascistic speech. You're all going to get sick. Some of you will die. Some of you will never recover, but you're going to survive. And that's the new metric of success. Go fuck yourself, bitch. Fucking swagger.